You know, it's incredible, but we hadn't done a TTI TCB881 until a couple of weeks ago, when a gentleman sent one in, and we did it 80 channel, and we also did the AM for the CPT, which he didn't ask to do, so that wasn't charged for. We have different prices for what people want, and 95% of customers, when it's an 80 channel capable radio, only need it to work on the UK 40 set of channels, and this is no exception. This is from a lorry driving firm. They've sent two new radios, newish radios in. These are about 2014, and they want it optimizing for UK set of channels. So in contrast to the last one we did, we'll be doing this on channel 20 of the UK channels rather than channel 1 or channel 40 of the CPT set, so it's in the centre of the band they use. So luckily we've got the service manual, we've got the picture doodle that I did, and so it's going to be quite easy to do this second time round. So first time round they take quite a lot of doing, and second time round hopefully you can actually be on an even keel with them. Just need to sort out my plug. It seems to have died a death. Right, we'll make the notes on the back of his letter. So he's got sent two sets in. The next one will be a Thunderpole 3000, which we've all seen before, but I may as well show you again because some people enjoy seeing the same sets time and time again. I remember originally when I set up this channel, we were going to do one of each type of set, and that was it. But I kept going, when are you going to, people were going, when are you doing the next Harvard 420M? Well, I'd never thought of doing it that way, but anyway, here we go. So this is TTI TCB881. So we'll connect this up to the test gear. I've got a funeral today to play the organ for at Ancaster Church, so only got to go a mile, and must remember to go and do that, mustn't I? Right, so we're plugged in, we're looking at the test set. I'll switch picture in picture on. I'll put it in the 3-watt scale for starters. We're on channel 20, UK set of channels. Let's see what it does. 3 watts exactly. Over to the other scale, about 2.9. So, TX, 2.9 watts. Deviation. Wallow. Needs to come down. How strange. I think the screwdriver person's been in this. What else do we do? Oh, frequency. I don't know if it's adjustable on these. I can't even remember. Yes, it is. Let's go over to the frequency counter. So we're looking for 27.79125. A little bit low, but the test set's not been on more than 10 minutes. So, I mean, it's not out of spec anyway at that. So I won't touch that for another 20 minutes. So I'll probably set that in a bit. Let's see where we are with receive. I'll put 2779 into the, I'm not going to put the correct frequency in, so it, oh yeah I will, because it's the test set that's going to be low, isn't it? 2779. I'll tell you what, we'll give it a fighting chance and we'll guesstimate that it is slightly low on frequency. and I'll put 2779100, which is probably about where it is. You see what I'm getting at? If the radio is slightly down on frequency, which it is, not noticeably, it wouldn't matter, but I don't want to test the receiver with the signal generator on frequency and the radio off frequency, so it's an unfair test. So the RX, let's put some volume on it, if I can find the volume. I hope we get a bit better than that. It's 1 microvolt. And some of it is adjustable, I think, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So, well, just for safety, we'll switch it off. Especially as it's not my set. I can't remember whether we've got to take both lids off on these. You know, there's very little that we can send back at the moment. We can't send back that base station. It's waiting for a cable grommet. We can send back the audio line, but they're on holiday, so they don't want it sending back until Tuesday. And then the list goes on. This is box 18. We've jumped box 17. Box 17 has got a President something in it, and it's an extensive repair from another dealer, and it's for Mr. Chippy to do, because he's got the video microscope on his bench. So I think I'm going to get Mr. Chippy to do what's obvious, and then we'll bring it on this bench and see whether we can actually fix it. So this other dealer has bought it off eBay as a broken set, and he's a bit older than I am, and I'll be 60 this year, so you can't always see things as well as you could once. For those of you who, if there are any viewers who are under 40, well, it's pretty normal for people to start with glasses at 40, so there you go. We used to get a record list from DJ Bardsley in Wales, and it was in such tiny print, and my late father had plus 16 long-sightedness glasses. You know, it was very much long sight, and he said, I can't even see there's any writing there. And I used to look at this list, and these days I found an old one. I thought I could see where my father was coming from, though I am only like plus 1.7. Quite difficult to get these lids off. I'm going to put the bottom one back on because the capacitive effect affects the tuning. So we'll unplug this speaker. There we go. Okay, so we're going to transmit. I'll just see if we've got any, if it's set up to do UK, to do EU. No, it's locked in the UK, which is excellent. I wish the test set would shut up. Right, here we go. So first of all, we've got the transmit line up, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 there. First of all, I think we have to put it onto, I think it's got a power adjustment. I could just go through the service manual, but VR 911. Yes, we'll start by adjusting this. So that's now at full power, which is 3.1 watts. And then we'll tune it from here. Of course, these are going to come out of the factory optimised for CPT. So as it warms up, it's dropping, and it's now dropped to 3 watts. In fact, that's gone higher. About 3.1. So L302, L701, 2 and 3. Now we don't want it on full power, even though full power is only 3 watts. Otherwise it's going to not help the radio live very long. So the idea is, as we turn this preset, it'll make no difference until you get to that point. And it's that point where it just starts to make some difference you can back off from. So this is as high a power as this radio will do, which is 3.1 watt. When warm, I'll add that, because when it's cold, it's going to probably do about 3.4. So you get to that point where it suddenly makes a difference. And that's the point at which it needs to be set. So that's disappointing. Can't even remember what we got out of the other one, but it was better than that. So, next thing we're going to do, it wants us to do 3%. I'll tell you what, we'll do it for now. But the test set really needs to be another 10 minutes before we can believe what it says. So 2779125, it's just popped up a bit, as you can see. It was 86, wasn't it? As the test set's warmed up. I'm going to not have it that high because with the test set warming up it rises. That's probably about right. I'll come back to it anyway in half an hour. So I've done that. So we want to do deviation. We're not going to put it into AM, we're not going to change it to CPT. The customer doesn't want that service, it's pointless. So RV401, is the meter on the radio, which it actually has. So it's the point at which it just goes to the full set of bars. Even though it's only doing 3 watts, it's psychological, I can assure you. Then we need to do deviation, which for some reason is too high. The only person who'll hear better with the deviation too high is a Fidelity 1000. Wallow wants to come up a fraction. Wallow wants to come up a fraction. Wallow. It still wants to come up a fraction. Wallow. That's it. That's where we want it. And he's probably got a noisy vehicle, so he's probably bellowing into the microphone, which isn't going to be helpful. I've just shown you the frequency counter instead of the meter. Let's just go back to the frequency counter. Yeah, that will rise, and we'll go back to that meter. Wallow. Testing 1, 2. Wallow. Wallow. That's my absolute peak. So we'll give it 3.2 watts when cold. 2.2 to 2.5 kilohertz, 2779 123. So that's that. Those are done. So we'll just see if we can get something more out of the receiver. What have I done? Oh, let's quick up. There we go. I was just checking RF gain was in the correct position. It's got an automatic noise limiter. That'll only be applicable to when you're in AM in the CPT band. So we don't need to be looking at any of that. So receive will just be a matter of these. If you look at my previous notes, I've got those codes which aren't really adjustable, the factory fixed. So you've got the 3 variable ones there. You've got AM detector to the right and FM detector to the left, so we won't be touching that. So it'll be a case of going down those. So I don't need to look at the service manual for that. So let's see where we are. We'll go over to the oscilloscope. We will. And we'll put an S9 equivalent signal on the test set. Put the volume till we've got a sensible trace, and then we'll see whether we can get maximum recovered audio. A little improvement there. So now we're going to go over to cyanide meter. And go to about 4 dB. See whether we can get a bit more out of it. The answer is yes on that one. Let's go through those again. Check these aren't adjustable. Well, that one is. Just got to put a bigger signal and see whether I can see that better. See where that is. Okay, so now I've got 0.82. Now, I like them to be under 0.85. So that's that done. Let's look at the S meter. Take picture and picture off. So I want it to just read S9 at S9 and not be really saturated at S9. See that they're in twos, these. There's only 5 lots of 2. So it's not actually much better than the Baby Midland. This, I think, is suffering from microphony like the one Mark had. Let's turn the tone off and the volume up. This is what happens to these. Nothing can be done. Imagine that if that's not properly mounted. If that's rattling around. What it is in the VCO section, you've got these ceramic surface mount capacitors. If we unsoldered that, there's these ceramic capacitors, and they absorb moisture. And so in a damp environment, they absorb moisture and they go microphonic. So you can't exactly get one of these sets new, unsolder that, spray conformal coating, put it back together. It wouldn't be practical. And these are now, they're now 8 years old, aren't they? Microphonic. Now that one we had in the other week wasn't. So all we can do is check the mounting screws are tight. And make sure all the screws are in the case. I'll turn it off before putting it in the case. But that's what I wanted to show you last time, and the other set wasn't doing it. So it's just a point when if you buy one of these second hand, it may be so microphonic it becomes unusable. So these aren't going to be 40 years old, are they? When you know, we won't be looking at I won't be doing anything in 40 years, but you know what I mean. Not brilliant. And if they just used resin dip ceramic capacitors, that wouldn't have happened. But then that would have cost more, wouldn't it? So we just need to look at the squelch. Right, squelch. So we're going to set the squelch to full, when I've turned the signal generator down a bit. I'll put the picture-in-picture on the attenuator controls. You can see where I am. And at the moment, I've just clonked the power lead. At the moment, we're at 0.3 of a microvolt. Which is Squelch. Our first one. So it's hearing 0.3 right down to about 0.15. Out of interest, let's see where the auto squelch comes in. 1 microvolt, just like the previous one did. There'll be an adjustment there, but I'm sure it's set right. It's the manual squelch we want to be worried about. So I'm going to turn the squelch to full. And what I want to happen is with an S9 signal of 100 microvolts, I want the squelch to open. So 1 microvolt, 3, 10, 30. So that's coming in too early. So we need to adjust the squelch preset so that it disappears. That's not the right tool. Okay, so it's not going to let us. So I'll just put it to full, see what. Well, full's the nearest we're going to get. Yeah, he's doing it. He's doing it. Yeah, that's exactly where we want it. So 30 microvolts, it's closed. 100 microvolts, it's open. I'll just back that off a fraction, see if I can. I've been able to do that. I don't like anything on full. So we're going to do the opposite now. Turn the signal generator to standby, park it at 0.3 of a microvolt, turn the squelch down, set threshold, see when it comes in. Signal generator back on. Straight in at 0.3. Excellent. Right, well that works super. So a bit disappointed we're going to get 3.2 watts out of it. But there you are. This, when I say 3.2 watts, that's on this test set. If you put it on a bird through line with a dummy load, you're going to get much the same result. If you put it on a ham radio type of the kind of power meter that's £100, you'll probably find it's going to be doing 4 watts. Now, if you put it on a good buddy power meter, it's probably doing 7. So never think you're getting as short change as it sounds. So when we say they're 4 watts, you may find that it's a lot more than that, depending on the quality of the tester and whether it's selective, like this is to some degree, or whether it's reading all the power, regardless of what frequency that power is being generated. I'm tempted just to run over that with the fiberglass brush, the pins, because it's clearly a damp environment. You know, if they're living in lorries, these sets. I'll unplug the extension speaker. Yeah, and it's gone over to that. So all we have to do now is you have to slip it in at the front, get the tabs did I say these are a pain? We need to be the far side of the case side. Tell you what, we're going to cut the power. What we've got to do is get the tab there, not there. The tab there, both sides, then get that in at the front, and then that will drop down, because you can't lift it, because that tab on both sides, where that is, you have to lift those with your fingernail to get them out, so it's a bit of a pain. what I always did like was the brand name stamped into them. So we'll do a scratchy corner test tomorrow, and later on today, and we'll do his Thunderbolt 3000 tomorrow. I thought I'd do them in that order. And I say we've got a President which I think we're going to be showing even if we don't get anywhere with it. But I say it's from another dealer, and he can't. Not because of his inability, but because of his eyesight, more to the point. He has retired some years ago, but likes to do a few repairs, you know. So the one with the star washer was there. I'm just going to see what that microphone is like with the case on. That star washer is going to help, believe it or not. So the only cure would be to take that screen plate off the bottom and remove every surface mount ceramic capacitor and replace them with resin dipped ceramic capacitors, and I can't really see that being worth it to get rid of the microphony. Have TTI stopped making stuff now? It's they seem to have come about 2010 and gone about last year. And they got another couple of screws in. The other one with the star washer. This is supposed to be for the microphone holder. Right, power it up on the power supply. There we go. And let's see what the microphone is like with it in one piece. So, big signal on, no tone, full volume. It's nothing like as bad when it's actually in a case. Okay, so we'll now put it on the roof aerial. I think I've said a million times this is an Antron 99 type of aerial. It might be the Solarcon 99, mounted just above gutter level on a single story building, fed with RG58 cable. It's the lowest aerial we have here. This is the one we use for all the tests. I've said this before, we continue to get some comments which get blocked. This channel is about UK FM CB radios. I know we might put the odd audio thing in, at the moment we're putting the huge pipe organ in, but that's what it's about. It's not about illegal CB radio. It's not about American CB radio, it's about UK FM CB radio. And what happens is people put some really good comments in, but they then mention something illegal, and so it's automatically blocked. So if you're putting comments in, please try and keep it to what's legal in the UK, and the comments go through. I see them in a sandbox, and there's nothing I can do about it apart from press the delete button. Right. I also had a comment. Oh well, a better aerial would be a such and such. Well, we're not doing a better aerial. What we're doing is a standard test. we're not trying to be elitist here at all. The servicing's going to be spot on, but the way the aerials are easily repeatable. I was going to say easy to replicate, but I got muddled up there, didn't I? So, turn the signal generator off. Turn the test gear off. One niner Roger. So notice how he sounds off frequency, because he will be. Oh, wrong button. Echo doesn't help, does it? Can you imagine that to NASA? International Space Station to control. Whoa, 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 whoa. 1919 Roger. I'll find the volume control eventually. Right, well, we actually heard somebody on that, which is amazing out here in the middle of nowhere, 35 miles from Nottingham, 28 miles from Lincoln, 28 miles from Boston. So there we are, another set tuned up to absolute optimum, and that's the TTI TCB881 from around about 2014. Thanks for watching.